So today we're doing office hours. Hours. If I can spell. All right, friends. So if you're joining me, I am just doing office hours today. I don't really feel like dancing. Depending on how this goes, we might get up and do like one or two songs, but for the most part, I'm not feeling it. So here we are. I also have my computer right here in front of me, and so if it gets like very quiet, then we might just do some work in the background here. Sorry, I was trying to fix my screen. So there is no formal plan to this or anything like that. We're here. Let me see, do we like this light better? I gotta start coming on here looking like a little bit better because I look a little rough. Today we're just doing office hours. So basically any questions that you have or anything like that, then feel free to drop them. I guess we'll leave that on. Drop them in the chat. Let's see here. What can I tell you? Oh, today is the last day of September. And so I actually did want to spend some time talking about the fact that it's the last day of September and how this this challenge is going and how this challenge ended up. And so I'm waiting for the end of the day to officially drop my spending habits for the month. But when I last checked, it's definitely over $1,000 less than what it has been in prior months, and so I'm pleased with that. I didn't really set out to have a specific amount that I would be trying to save, but definitely pleased with saving some money. I put up a couple of posts yesterday talking about how yesterday was National Coffee Day, and there were a lot of freebies associated with that. And so I put up a video of showing how I took myself to lunch because these four walls close more every day. It was starting to close in on me here, working from home. And so I took myself out to lunch. And part of the reason that I did that, especially because it is Smart Spending September, is that when I went to look at one of the locations that offered free coffee, I noticed that I also had a $10 reward. And so that just basically I got my meal for half off. Like that's what it came out. No, more than half off because I saved like $15 and I spent like 12. Let's see. What does this say? Okay. I don't really know what that is. I'm just pushing buttons and signing up for stuff. Yeah, so I did that, I did take myself out to lunch yesterday and was able to save like $15 on that meal. Let's see. So I have my calendar right here that I had created for this Smart Spending September. Let's see. Let's see it. Can you see it? Okay, yeah, you can kind of see it. And so with this calendar, which honestly, I've been kind of feeling my way through it. Hopefully this has been helpful for somebody, but let's see, for today is the 30th. It says we're supposed to reflect on how has your mindset about wants versus needs shifted. I think the hardest thing about getting smarter with money is that it does make you have to reflect every time you purchase something. So like there will be times where I want something. I'll be out and I'm just like, dang, I really want a coffee, or I really want, I don't know, whatever. And I think the thing is like, I know I can be very impulsive sometimes when it comes to like spending money. And so this challenge has really shown me that you can't do that. You can't be impulsive when it comes to buying things. Add up what you saved or redirected by being mindful this month. I'm going to be posting that tomorrow. So I'm going to do like a final kind of like count of where I landed for the month tomorrow. Let's see what else. So I'm just kind of looking at the calendar and going backwards and trying to see what reflections that we can do. Weekly reflection. What proud moment stands out most this month? Ooh. I actually did a lot this month. So first of all, I traveled to an event that was pre-planned before I decided to do this Smart Spending September. And, you know, there were certain costs that I couldn't avoid, like the hotel, and I had to eat while I was there. The registration and things had already been paid, so that was good. And then my husband's birthday was this month. And there were some other things. And so I think what I'm most proud about is that I was able to find the balance between sticking to this challenge, but also like continuing to do the things and pour into myself and my family in the ways that are important to me. How do you plan to carry mindful spending into October? Like, for example, one day a week. I think I want to keep on the same track. I was telling, I think somebody I was talking to yesterday, you know, I did a lot. I made a lot of improvements for this month, but I'm still not necessarily where I need to be, because like I said, I did travel this month. My husband's birthday was this month. I did have to buy, I didn't have to, but I bought a flight for something that's coming up, which means a lot to me. But like, it would be nice to have a month where I actually literally just don't have any trips or anything like that and see where I land. And so I think one of the things that I'm carrying with me to next month is the fact that, you know, I do need to continue on this path. I don't need to give up and stop. Let's see what else we got going on here. I do need to write a gratitude list of 10 things I already have and enjoy. I think that would be helpful. Identify one luxury item you don't miss. Consider cutting it permanently. I think that's a great idea. I do love my luxurious items. I don't really have a lot of like, one luxury. I think one of the big takeaways from this month too is like really sitting back and like realizing how blessed I am to be able to do a lot of the things that I do and give and show up in the ways that I show up. I think it's important to take time to really, you know, appreciate that. And that's something that I've talked to like my kids about and things like that. Create a wish list. So writing it down instead of actually buying it. That's good. Cash only. I do love doing that, actually, using cash only. It really does like set you up for success, because it's like, this is how much cash I have. This is how much money I have to spend. And it just kind of is what it is. And taking it from there, that's a really good takeaway, is, you know, on giving yourself a limit with cash, because once cash runs out, it is what it is, unlike credit or anything else. And so what I'm doing is I'm just doing some reflecting. Today's the last day of September. I've been doing this Smart Spending September challenge, where I called it Smart Spending because it's not about not spending. It's about being smart with your spending. And so one of the things that I was just reflecting on is I'm looking through the calendar that I created to go along with this month. And one of the things it talks about is like using cash for essentials. We've gotten so far away from using cash, but it's funny because cash does end. It has a limit. You know, your credit card, you can overspend so easily because, you know, you're buying it on credit. You don't necessarily have to have the cash right away. So that is a really good tip, is to use cash to kind of limit yourself. Sometimes if I go somewhere, let's say I'm going to like a street market or something like that, I will use that trick of like, I'm going in here with $100. When this $100 runs out, then whatever it is, it just is what it is. I'm done. So I think something like that is helpful. I think other people I've seen that they budget. They do their household budget with cash. So let's say they will have different envelopes. What is it called? The envelope budget, where they will have different envelopes for different bills. And they'll use cash to put into those envelopes. And it's a really helpful way of mapping it out and budgeting it that way too. I also like to save some cash. Like I'll put money into savings in a bank account, but I also like to have some cash as savings. That's probably from my old school parents who are like, you always need to have cash on you and stuff like that. So yeah, I will cash is still very important. Especially in this world of like credit and AI and cyber and stuff like that. I think it's nice to have a healthy balance. Okay, so what else? Review your bank statement to spot small spending leaks. Ooh, don't get me started on the leaks. I think my small spending leaks are associated with my subscriptions. I mean, I even have a car wash subscription, and I think it's smart because if you're going to keep your car clean, but I really need to go old school and just like get me a hose, some cleaning supplies, and wash my car out here in this driveway, because that is like a spending leak. That's kind of an unnecessary expense for luxury purposes that like I could be saving every month. So reviewing your bank statement for small spending leaks, that one hits. That one hits and it hurts a little bit, but it's true. I think that's just the tip of the iceberg, because there's just the subscriptions are the thing. I think subscriptions are really the things that gets me and a lot of other people into trouble these days, because a lot of times what will happen is you will sign up, it'll be $10 a month. You're like, whatever, it's $10 a month, and then you're paying $10 a month for 3 years, and what was $10 a month now became $360. And that's on the smaller end. I was in this group that cost $100 a month. It was supposed to be something that would help me elevate my business and move forward and, get my life together. But I wasn't really doing anything with it. That was $100 a month. I think I was in it for like a year. That's $1,200. And, yeah. So when it's talking about these spending leaks, that's a really big thing. So subscriptions are definitely something to look out for. I think also, as Smart Spending September is coming to a close, I don't think I want to do another challenge in October, but one of the things that I think I probably will do is look into my bank accounts and try to find like some of these spending leaks and unsubscribe to some of these subscriptions. I think it's just necessary. I think if I really want to be able to save money or just be more intentional with where my money goes, I think that's just something that needs to happen. Make a free fun list of at least 5 activities you enjoy. I definitely need to do that. I work from home, and so there's just a lot of time where I feel closed in and like, oh my gosh, I gotta get out of here. But my problem is outside always costs money, and maybe it's probably just that the stuff I do outside costs a lot of money. And so I think having a list of some activities that I can do for free outside the house, I think that's going to be a game changer. And so what I'm doing is just going through this smart spending September calendar that I created. I'm just going through and doing kind of like a review of some of the days that have passed, because I did some of them. I started off really strong with this calendar, and then I still was doing smart spending, but I wasn't paying as much attention to the calendar. So I'm just going back and kind of taking things off. Use up groceries on hand before shopping again. Groceries and shopping is like the bane of my existence. All my money goes to food. That is one thing that I did this month, is we did a lot of like cooking at home. But you know, like back in the day, it used to be where if you cooked at home, it was a lot cheaper than eating out. But I feel like, I don't know, like, I feel like both of them are expensive now. I'm not sure it's cheaper to eat at home. And that's probably just me, but yeah, so, definitely something to look into, but I don't know. I don't know how successful that was. Do it yourself or repair something instead of buying new. I didn't run into that. Oh, well, no, I didn't, but I was out in the store and I was looking for a solution for something and was like, oh, I have this hole puncher at home, and then I could just buy this 30-cent folder and put it in there instead of doing what I was going to do. And so there's something to that. Like, you do it yourself instead of, buying something new. All right. The next one was declutter one space at home, rediscover what you already own. That's like, so I went through my clothes and I got rid of some clothes, and the bags have just been sitting around. And then I was like looking for something, and it was something that I had gotten rid of. And so I went diving into that bag that I laid to the side to donate. And it did kind of feel like I was going shopping again, which is actually, I don't know, that feels like it defeats the purpose, but it's better than going to like a shopping place and actually shopping for new things. So yeah, rediscover what you already own. That can work. That works. Let's see. Cook all your meals at home today instead of ordering out. Yeah, we did a lot of cooking at home for this Smart Spending September. A lot of cooking at home. Even to the point of like going into the grocery store and trying to figure out what's something quick that I can make. I don't know why, but we had gotten away from like making sandwiches and, buying like lunch meat and cheese and just like cold sandwiches. I feel like these damn kids are spoiled. But, we had kind of gotten away from that. And so this month we rediscovered like freaking cold sandwiches. It's way more affordable. My 13-year-old can go in the kitchen and make himself a sandwich. He can do other things too, but it just made it a lot easier. And so I'm not ashamed that we did that for lunch and dinner a lot of days this month to save money. What works, whatever works. What was the hardest? What's the smart choice? So you probably will come back to that. Choose a free entertainment option. Walk, at home movie night, library, book. Okay. I struggle with stuff like this because when I be wanting to do stuff, I want to do it. And like, as I've gotten older, one of the things that I allow myself is like, I don't do a lot. So when I do get ready to do stuff, then I want to do it. And so like, a walk is not entertainment to me. That's exercise. And so, at home movie night, like we watch movies all the time at home. And so like, that doesn't feel like an extra like entertainment. So I think going back to that, the thing where I said I was going to try to make a list of free things to do. I think I'm going to do that. One of the things that I used to do was like, they would have movies in the park where you could like pack a little picnic and go sit in the park and watch a movie. That was fun. It was fun when my kids were younger. Now they'll just complain the whole time. So maybe I'll go do it by myself, or me and my husband will go and do it. A pantry or freezer check. Check all expenses today. Notice your patterns. My pattern is overspending. That is the pattern. Journal your why. So this is getting back to the beginning of the month where I actually did do some of this stuff where I tried to journal, and write down some things and just, I think the interesting thing about this, so this calendar is really good. If you're here, you're looking at this, if you want to, the link is in my bio, so you can go and download this. It's on my website as well. It's yourcfofriend.com/ I don't know. I think it's /TikTok. So the calendar is still up and you can still download it. But, and it has these tips that I've been reading through that will be helpful for not just right now, but into the future. Actually, I'm highlighting some of them because I'm like, oh, I need to go do this in October because I didn't do it in September. So, some of this is really helpful. But, you know, I think there's always a balance. That's my life lesson. We don't know how much longer we're going to be here today, tomorrow, you know, in a minute, in an hour, in a year, you know, so much happens. And so I think that for me, that's part of the reason why I do try to find the balance between like saving for tomorrow, but also like enjoying and living for today. And so, yeah, that's my kind of smart spending September recap. So for me, I think it was a successful month. I'm going to be posting on my page the updated graph of my spending. So if you look on my page, you can see that I had a recent post, maybe, I don't know how many posts back, but where you can see a graph of like my spending starting back in like maybe May of this year and how it's progressed. In September, you'll see it's going to be like very low compared to the other months. My friend commented about my June and July. She was like, you was having a really good June and July. I had to go back and look and see like why I spent so much money in June and July. And I was like, oh, okay. There was a lot of like family stuff going on and, you know, investments and things like that. And like a course type thing. Anyway, that is it. That is my smart spending September recap. So what I'm doing today is just kind of like a general office hours with Professor Nance, your CFO friend. So if you have any questions about accounting and finance, about your personal finance, about smart spending September, or anything, then please let me know. I'm here to answer any of your questions. It can be about budgeting and savings. Yeah, or anything. If you did do the smart spending September challenge, I would love to know, like, how did that go for you? I just kind of did an overview for myself of like how I think it went, but for myself, but yeah, I would love to know like how other people experienced it. Let me just check and see if we have any comments. I've been trying to go live more recently because it is outside of my comfort zone. Because like even right now, I feel like I'm talking to myself, which is why this tool was so helpful because then I could like go through it as opposed to just like sitting here talking. But yeah, I've also been thinking about possibly like finding some like in-person jobs to do again. Like I've prided myself on being able to do everything remotely for the last 8-9 years, but oh, it's getting rough. It's getting rough. I miss people. I miss talking to people. Okay. So no questions. There are no questions. Yeah, I'm just rambling on talking about like closing out this smart spending September. You know, ironically, so just a little backstory. I had not planned to do a smart spending September. As a matter of fact, I probably picked a really bad month to decide that I was going to do a smart spending challenge, but it just kind of came up for me like one day. Literally, I think it was like the day before. I think it was like the 31st of August, and I was just like, F it, I'm going to do it. And so that's kind of how it happened. Then I went and made this calendar and just like jumped straight into it. I think my biggest takeaway from this smart spending September challenge is the people in my house are expensive. You know, like I spend money on myself and that's one thing. But what I was realizing is like when we order takeout, if I was just ordering takeout for me, it would be a whole different conversation. But the fact that like most of the time when we order food is for everybody in the house. And there's two boys. We have two boys, 18-year-old, 13-year-old, and then my husband. So I'm the only, woman in the house. And they all eat like grown ass men. And so anytime that we order something, it's like, we're not talking about Happy Meals no more. Everybody wants a full combo. and that shit gets expensive. And so that's one of my realizations, which is why, like I said, we've done a lot of like sandwiches at home because, but it's kind of like, okay, like if you've ever been on a diet and you start checking the labels and then you like go back and you're like, I can't go back. Like I can't go back to eating all these high calorie foods after I've done all this work of like not of looking at labels and figuring out. That's how I feel about prices. That's how I feel about prices and eating out and like, you know, stuff like that. So yeah. The other thing is that I realized is like both of our sons, they get like allowances and they have their own money, but a lot of times they'll leave their wallet at home. And, you know, I try to be very adamant about like, well, no, you know, if you want something, then I'll front it for you, but you're going to pay me back. But I feel like there's more of putting my foot down where stuff like that is concerned that we can do too, because these boys be getting over. They be out here living the life. So yeah. So yeah, that's my smart spending September recap. I'll probably do either another video on this or something like that because I have been posting it on my page. For those who are still with me, do you have any questions? Any accounting and finance related questions or any like personal finance or anything like that? No. What time is it? 9:32. Let me check my work email. Let me see what they're doing over there. Okay. Nobody's looking for me, which is always a good sign. Alrighty. Yep. Excuse me. So yeah, we'll just be here for a little bit longer. So I'm just here to answer any of your questions that you may have, but no pressure. No pressure, never any pressure. Just here to answering your questions. Calling this office hours. I feel like I need to go get dressed for the day and put on some makeup or something, because that is another thing to me about working from home is like you gotta really make yourself get up and get out and like and do the extra stuff. Okay. Alrighty, so I think we're just gonna go ahead and leave it there because I do feel like I'm talking to myself and I am running out of things to say. Before I do that, I just want to check and make sure that it says that I'm live. I want to see and make sure that I actually am live. Because I've been having some trouble with like technology. So I've been trying to practice this whole like going live thing and yeah. I tell you, the more I do like technology and stuff, the older it makes me feel. Okay, so I'm gonna stay on for like a couple more minutes, but I'm just if you have any accounting and finance related questions, then let me know. Let me see. Let me pop it here really quickly. Let's pause that. Nope. Okay. Well, it is working. We are live. Okay. Alrighty, friends. We are going to end it here then. Thanks for listening. I'll see y'all later. Bye.